Let's talk about feedback. There's a 4-step process called the bear model that I want to share with you. But before I go into that, I want to talk about some of the things that need to be in place before we get into feedback. One is, I believe that feedback should be a two-way street. Whether it's to a parent giving feedback to a child, or a boss giving feedback to a direct report, it's really valuable if after we talk about the feedback, we ask for feedback for ourselves, especially if we're in a position of power. Sometimes if we ask someone to do something and we don't ask, how can I help? How can I support? What is it that I need to do? It will help you to become the kind of person that you want to be. Another piece that I think is important prior to moving into feedback is to get consent. My old friend Angelo once said to me, I've got some feedback for you that I think will improve your leadership. Would you like to hear it? I said, oh yeah, tell me, what is it? He said, not now. I'll tell you later. And I was very excited about this. And I believe the reason why he did it that way is he actually really wanted me to be in a place where I really wanted the feedback and that I initiated, I want this feedback. Even though he'd already primed me by saying that will improve your leadership. It was really helpful, I think, for me to initiate the second conversation where he actually did give me great feedback. One time I was shadowing someone who had asked me to visit her while she was training and doing a workshop for a week. And every night we would get together and talk about ways that her training could be improved. One of the things I loved about it is that this became the gold standard for me, because in addition to me sharing with her some things that I noticed and some things that I thought could be improved, we were actually both on the same wavelength about wanting to improve ourselves. And so it would all be about exploring, how could we do this differently? How could we do that differently? And so we would stay up till late at night, like 2 a.m, just talking about possibilities and exploring new ways of trying things that would get the kind of results, the kind of learning in the room that we wanted. So I'll always remember that if I invested myself in it, that it wasn't just about me giving her feedback, but it was we were in this together that made a huge difference. And now I'm going to share with you the bear model of collaborative feedback. The B stands for behavior. This is where we offer specific observations about the behavior. We share the exact words, the exact movements, what we noticed, what a video camera would capture. Second piece is the E part of the bear model, the effect. This is where we talk about the impact on us, the impact that we notice it had on the group. We often will talk about emotions or the needs. And this is about what's important. And the third piece from the bear model is alternatives. Different options, different behaviors, different things we can experiment with, things that we can try to do differently. So this is a joint exploration to generate new behaviors, new ideas, new ways of interacting. And the fourth part of the bear model is results. And this is where we agree on the behavioral change. So out of all the things that we brainstorm, what's the one thing that you're going to try? Where are you going to start? What's the desired result that you are wanting by trying these new behaviors? So this is an opportunity to move into that space of taking action after we've talked about the behavior, the effect, the alternatives. That's when we start moving into results. One of the most important things, though, about the bear model is that we check with ourselves before we offer someone feedback. And if we think that we're being judgmental, or we think the person should know this already, or if we have some kind of distance between us or a barrier between us and the other person, that's a good time to do some work on myself before I would offer someone feedback. And I consider the bear model to be more about doing a bear hug kind of energy versus a growly, vindictive, angry, hurt place to come from. So if we're in any of those feelings that are not calm and connected and courageous and curious, then we need to work on ourselves before we offer feedback. Once I was in an organization where we were doing 360-degree feedback, and it was anonymous, as most 360-degree feedback is. And one of the things that happened is one of the people that I was coaching received feedback. He had 2 direct reports, and one of them on every single category gave him straight 1s, and the other direct report gave him straight 7s. And he wasn't really sure who gave which, because he thought they were both pretty good employees, and he didn't understand why one person said things in the comments. He has no personality. And so after some time, he figured out who he thought was the person who had given him straight 1s, and he fired that person. And to this day, I have deep regret about that whole process, because first of all, I think he chose the wrong person. He chose the person who had given him all 1s. But I had no way of knowing that. But more importantly, it really changed my view on giving anonymous feedback. Although a lot of people say you'll get much more honest feedback, what you also get is a lot of mistrust, because there's no opportunity for people to continue the conversation and say, when you said this about me, what did you really mean? What do you think I could do to improve this? And that's why I've shifted to a different form of feedback, which is face-to-face. It's very short, and it focuses on one behavior. What's the one thing that's going to improve your life? And what do people have to say about it? What do they notice about that thing? Like, say I want to become a better listener, and I go to 7 people who are my stakeholders, my direct reports, my boss, my partner, people that are my peers. And I say, how do you think I could become a better listener? And what do you notice about the way I've been listening this week? That's an opportunity for me to learn a lot. And if we do it on a monthly basis, I'm talking about 7 5-minute conversations, once a month for 6 months, you would be amazed at the changes that take place. The thing that I think is most important about the feed forward model is that if we do something that is considered bad behavior, say I threw a chair across the room, people are always going to remember that, and that's going to be a defining moment. It's very difficult to change perception when you've done something like that. However, if you enroll people in the feed forward process where they become part of your team to help you change your behavior, not only are they giving you feedback every week, but they are noticing the changes that you are making. And that changes everything. It's not just important to change your behavior, it's important to change perception. So I hope you go out and enjoy creating opportunities to give and receive feedback, and that you learn a lot about yourself and a lot about your impact.